Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on another episode of Fast Break on IE Sports Radio, I want to introduce you to one of our sponsors, the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in the hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on the quest to earn titles and get players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, get semi-sport pros a chance. If you love your sport, you may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. You can find them on social media at Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram, Southern California _Warriors, and on Facebook, Southern California Warriors. With football season coming up here soon, hey, if you're an athlete, get out there and see what you got. Now on to the show. Lots to discuss tonight, ladies and gentlemen, including, the Game 3 game between the Suns and Clippers. Well, Game 4, actually, when the Suns going up 3-1. We'll discuss that. Also, we'll talk about the preview of tonight between the Hawks and Bucks, who can go up in that series. Plus, the NBA draft lottery happened just a few days ago, with the Detroit Pistons leapfrogging to the number one spot. Do they stay in that number one spot? Or, who do they draft? We'll discuss that and much more here on Fast Break, live on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for that is all is sports. And you are welcome to join us. And join us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of discussing, lots of things going on in the world of the NBA and basketball in general. A lot of things happening. Coaching changes, all this stuff in the works. So, we're just going to hop all right into it. But D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been exciting past couple of days for me also. Shout out to all the USA track athletes competing this past week, making the teams, making the Olympic team this week. So we got one more day. So I've been kind of glued into that, and also the playoffs as well. So sports been going pretty crazy right now.
Yeah, a lot of things going on. Shout out to the chat real quick. Terry Rodriguez in the chat, and Terry saying he's going to check. He's covering some Summer League basketball, high school. So, hey, nothing wrong with that, Taryn. I've been checking out here locally in Alabama as well. Some good games been going on over the summer, so I'll be going to games, stuff like that. So, hey, do your thing, man. I don't blame you at all. Some good hoops have been going on this summer. And shout out to Marcus Los, great in the chat. Thank you for tuning in tonight, sir. But D-Lock, let's hop into it. Game 4. The Western Conference Finals between the Phoenix Suns and LA Clippers. The Phoenix Suns came out with the win. Wasn't pretty by both teams, but Phoenix just did just enough to win the game. What are your thoughts with Phoenix going up 3-1 now in this series, and can they top it off come Monday to advance to the NBA Finals since the last time since the 90s? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they're in prime position right now. They're playing extremely well. To jump up that huge lead was very important. So now they have the chance to, like you said, take advantage of what they have right now. They're going back home. Chris Paul played a little bit better, but I think he's going to be much more of himself this next game. And it might be over with, man. The biggest question is what are the Clippers are going to do? Now, I think, not to jinx him, but Chris Paul does have a bad history of 3-1 leads. But I think they'll be fine. They got the right pieces. The coach is the guy. I like the group that they have.
Yeah, I think, the Clippers, for the Suns, I think, Devin Booker, found out. But, they still it was late, though. He fouled out. But, they still maintained composure. They didn't let the game get out of hand with their best scorer going out. I think they got a favorable call late in that game when, I think when Paul got that foul call on him, for him, and, he hit those free throws. But before that, the inbound pass, I thought, when they showed the replay, I thought he traveled before they, called a foul on I think, either Batum or somebody else, or George. I thought that was a travel on Paul, my honest opinion. I don't know if you saw that, what I saw. Maybe you thought it was a foul, when it went live.
I mean, I did definitely see that. And this game has kind of been, this series, I'm sorry, it's been kind of like, it kind of been just letting them play a little bit also. Also, that question call with, I think, but that was a couple of games ago when it seemed like Aiden was the last person to touch the ball off of Terrence Mann. So, it's a couple calls, man, that was kind of in question. But the biggest thing I think that sticks out in this series is Paul George free throws.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I really think he's still one of the better players in the league, but his knees are buckling at the free throw line. Like, this dude is like, like he's not hitting the clutch free throws. I mean, if he do that with a couple shots, maybe they're not down 3-1. But that's definitely something that is sticking out, and I'm pretty sure you wish he can get those back, but it's still hindering him big time.
Yeah, I mean, he went 12 for 18 from the field. 12 for 18 for the free throw line. If he went at least maybe half of that, you talk about a different ball game. But damn, it's just like, damn dog, you shooting free throws like you don't give a damn. And I talked in the show in the past, ladies and gentlemen, when I coach basketball with my kids and stuff like that, if we're not shooting at least 70% in the game, then what the outcome, wherever the outcome happens, well, we can look at several different things, but if the free throws are consistent, then you can go about your strategy in different ways. And for the Clippers, they shot 65% from the line. 12 for 31 from the 32 from the line. If you shot at least 70%, you possibly win this game. And this series been back and forth, been pretty close all the way through. Nobody's really been blown out in this series.
Nah, these games have been very tight. It's been going down to the wire.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of people tweeted. Hell, I believe I tweeted also at the end of the last game for a couple minutes. Like, well, damn, is somebody gonna make a shot? They're playing that good of a defense on both ends. So these games are going down to the wire. But you would expect that too in the conference finals. But a couple of these, that makes it even more important about these free throws that Paul George is missing.
Yeah, it's just like, as a coach, you see that as like, damn, dude, and you just read the stat lines and stuff like that, and plus going 5 for 31 for 3-point line don't help things either. But Phoenix didn't shoot the ball well either, so you can consider that a wash. But like I said, you pinpoint one thing. What beat us? Free throws. And, for Phoenix, they took advantage late. They hit their free throws at the end. Ayton had a very nice, strong game. Not his best scoring. I mean, didn't score as much, but rebounding-wise, he was getting after it. Kind of held the glue together of this team because, granted, yeah, Booker played well, but, he picked up some cheap fouls and stuff from that and stuff like that throughout the game. So I was just like, if somebody just string together some good few possessions, you can pull away, in this game, but it never really happened. And I fought D-Lock in the start of that third quarter when Reggie Jackson got a little hot and going and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I think they might do something here. And Reggie Jackson, by the way, who has earned himself some money this offseason. But it really didn't happen. It's just like, okay, y'all missing shots. Both y'all teams missing shots. Going back and forth like that. And then, you get to the end result. Come Monday, D-Lock, do the Suns finish it off? Or do the Clippers, who seem like they go down in these series in the playoffs, but kind of bounce back and win? What do you see the result for Monday?
Well, for me, this is a closeout game. So this is going to be one of the tough ones. Probably one of the tougher games that Phoenix is going to have. But the fact is they are at home. The Clippers are beaten up. I think Ty Lue is coaching very good at making his adjustments, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough adjustments for them to win in Phoenix. They know what is at stake right now. They know that they lose this one, there's a possibility that this game can go back to LA. So right now, I feel like the Suns will close this out. I think this is going to be the best game that Chris Paul has played this series. Even though this series has been going by pretty fast, but I think this is going to be his best game. And I just feel like at this point, you're going to get the best of Chris Paul. You're going to get the Devin Booker, and Jay Crowder is playing excellent as well. So I think one thing that hurt the Clippers actually in my mindset was the fact that they moved Paul George down to the 4th spot. When they moved him down to the 4th spot, now Jay Crowder is the person actually covering him. So now we know Jay Crowder is a hell of a defender. We've seen that last playoffs against Giannis. So I think that is going to be something huge. And I think the Suns get it done and advance to the NBA Finals.
Yeah. And going to the chat real quick, Mark is saying, I think he's calling like Chris Paul. He's going to get his ring. And then he said playoff P ain't mentally sound. And he also said, Patrick Beverley's, been holding his ass off in this in this series. And he didn't know hand checking was back in the NBA until he saw Beverley's defense. Which, that's how, Beverley, kind of survived his league. Play that great.
Beverley has been Beverley for the longest. Like we know what Beverley possesses. So he's going to be him, but is it enough for them to actually, I just don't see them winning the next game in Phoenix. It's a possibility. Of course, they're gonna tip off, but at this point, I think the Phoenix are clicking, man. They're the perfect team right now, and it just seems like at this moment, they're the deeper team. Cameron Payne didn't even play the last game, did he?
He did.
The game before.
He did.
Yeah. So For me, I just I think the Suns are ready, man. I mean, like I said, I think this is Chris Paul's best game right here. I think he gets in the best rhythm, and they locked this game up. They locked this series up.
Yeah, I think the Clippers. I think they squeak out one more game, but I think Phoenix closes out in 6. We don't know what the status of Kawhi Leonard is going to be. I mean, initial report saying it was an ACL injury, but then Clippers refute that, say it wasn't. So, will he make an appearance in this series? I don't know. Do they really need him in this series? I mean, it would be nice, but the way these games have been played, not necessarily. My humble opinion. But I think Clippers come back and win Game 5. Just something tells me about it. But I think Phoenix closed out in 6 in LA. Which is kind of fitting that, Chris Paul's, greatest success in the league was with the LA Clippers.
Was it LA Clippers? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see that too. Man. I mean, it'd be different if they had Kawhi. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of can see a little bit more, but I don't know, dude. Like, at this point, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they're starting to. DeAndre Ayton is coming to a hell of a player right now, which we've seen over time. I believe this year he started out suspended, correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you got him, doing what he's doing. Cameron Johnson is playing hella great off the bench right now. So yeah, man. Like I think that this team is gonna be hard to beat, but I wouldn't doubt it if the Clippers could sneak one out. I just feel like that crowd is going to be rocking with everything on the line. Kind of reminds me when they played the other LA team. They knew what was at stake. So we'll see.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, ladies and gentlemen. And if the Suns do beat the Clippers, come Monday, then we'll discuss that next week and whatnot. But, the Clippers kind of hold on. Then, we got some more length in this series. But, D-Lock, speaking of Sunday, I know we're in Sunday, but let's take back to last Sunday. Sixers Hawks. Yes, we know, ladies and gentlemen, we're in Game 3 in the Eastern Conference Finals tonight. But we got to take it back to last week here. What were your thoughts when the Hawks won that game against Philly at home at Philadelphia? And the reaction that a lot of people gave grief to Ben Simmons in that game and the way he played in the series. What are your thoughts of, what's the future of Philly? What's going to happen with Simmons and company? What are your thoughts on that dynamic right there?
Well, to be honest, it might be over for him in Philly. I just feel like that was a shocker, man. I mean, I did not expect for Philly to lose that game at home. I just, with the caliber of players they have, everything in their favor. I was not expecting that to be a loss, but that do tell me that one, anytime we see a Dwight Howard went to the NBA Finals with the Magic, he had shooters around him. When Shaq went to the finals multiple times he had shooters around him. So for me, I feel like with Joel Embiid, you need to surround him with shooters. I think he would better serve with shooters. So, and I say that to say that I don't think Ben Simmons is a bad player at all. I like Ben Simmons. Hell, if anything, I really want to go to Orlando Magic, but I want everybody to go to Orlando. But I feel like, they need to get somebody who is they need more shooters than anything, and to surround around Joel Embiid. And it just seems like at this moment, it just wasn't meant for them to make that leap. I mean, this was the time they had. We've seen Doc Rivers blow huge leads as well. So to me, it was just like, damn, like, again with Doc Rivers, So I think that at this moment, it's probably best that Ben Simmons does go somewhere else. And they try to get something in return. But also, I think the biggest thing is they need to get some shooters, man. I mean, that's going to do best with Joel. You already got Five Boy as one of your defensive players. You got a couple guys that can play some solid defense. Surround him with some shooters. Make sure he's healthy. And go with it that way. But the way that with Ben, I just feel like Ben Simmons is not going to fit there. Like, not with what Joel Embiid possesses.
Let me ask you a question. When we were discussing, trade rumors and stuff about with James Harden, remember, Daryl Morey, who I still contend shouldn't have a damn job in the NBA, in my humble opinion. After, when he did the China thing and losing a boatload of money for the league, which I still flabbergasted that he still got a job. But that's no subject for another day. But going back to the calendar and kind of looking at things now, how things have transpired, are you kind of surprised Morey didn't make a move for James Harden, knowing that what he knows about Simmons? And this is even before the playoff performances that he had, especially in this series. You can't tell me that people inside the league knows the ins and outs of the league, knows how Ben Simmons operates, what he can and cannot do, what he won't and will not work on. You couldn't tell me as a GM that you're going to hedge your bets on this guy. In which, you got a sure thing down in Houston that you very well aware of that would greatly benefit your team. What you think about Moore not making that move for Simmons for Harden?
I'm thinking right now it's more so based off a loyal thing. He wanted to build around him, and he felt as if this guy was the one that can make that difference for him. But that move obviously didn't benefit anything. I'm pretty sure he's rethinking about it now. And I feel like at this point, this is one of those, man, you know what, I should have or I could have situations, or if I would have, maybe this would have happened type situations. And at the end of the day, we're going to hear that a lot. Well, maybe you should have, or you could have done this, or you could have done that. Like, we're going to hear that often. But for me, I feel like at this point, that has already been done. You had the opportunity to make that move and make that transition, and you didn't do it. So now the fact that you kind of regret the scenario, it puts you in a bad situation. And at this point, now, even though Harden was hurt at, in Brooklyn, who knows what kind of combination we would have seen with James Harden and Joel Embiid. That's probably something that you need. Remember, like I said, you need shooters. James Harden is not that bad of a defensive player when he wants to play defense. So, for me, again, I feel like that decision is one of those, now you're looking back like, damn, I wish I would have done. But, bro, like, look at the situation you're in now. So now you're going to get rid of Ben Simmons or possibly trade him, and you might come out with, well, more than likely, you're not going to come out with a player that's on the caliber of James Harden.
Yeah, watching that, going back and watching that game, and kind of replaying in my head is like, why you don't have that killer instinct? Like Marcus, saying in the chat. I don't know if you heard this phrase before, D-Lock, or not, but in terms of basketball, you ever heard the phrase, you big for no reason?
Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
Ben Simmons is, in a sense, like that. You're a 6'9", 6'10" point guard. Got this God-given ability, but you really don't take advantage of it. To be dominating out there in the court. I say this. He don't have to be the world's best shooter. I think, like you alluded to, he don't have to be the world's best shooter. But if he had at least that killer instinct to drive, kind of like Giannis does, like, I'm gonna drive to the hole and pound it down your throat. Come into the lane, stop me. If he had that type of mentality, then we're talking about a totally different player and probably a totally different outcome in this series. Because he's a way better ball handler than Giannis. If he had that type of mentality, to score like that, we're talking about a whole different type of player. A whole type of different player. But we kind of saw signs of this with him back in LSU. And you wonder, like, damn, this guy 6'10", playing college in the SEC. You're not really elevating his team like that. He got talent, you see it, but it's like, damn, you're not dominating these college guys like you probably should. And look, and now you kind of like fast forward to now. Look where we're at now. Where we go? Where do we go from here? Is Moore going to sit him down and say, "Hey," and Doc Rivers sit down, "Hey, we need you to work on this and this," or are you going to do it? Or do they try, like you said, trying to trade him? But what can you get back for him that you could have got more back in well, even not in the Harden trade. They're right when we're floating out for him and like CJ McCollum. Also, but now teams kind of see this like in this performance in the playoffs, like, what we're gonna do with him? I think the perfect place for him, D-Lock, is somewhere with a team that already has a bunch of shooters already. Who?
Yeah, I mean, that's for both. I like the fact that both of these, in a sense, for both of these, for Ben Simmons and Embiid, they're going to benefit with players around them. If you ask me, to be honest, I'm not starting Ben Simmons at the 1. I'm starting him at the 4. I mean, at the 3. I'm sorry, at the 3. He's more of a small forward to me than a point guard, with the length. And I would try to build that way because, let's be real, he is still a dominant player. Hell, man, has been on first team defenses multiple times. So at this point, he's been on first team defenses or all NBA defenses. He's been All-Star 3 times, so he could be that guy. But clearly, he's not a shooter. He's not the guy that you need to rely on when it comes to shooting. That's not how this works. So for me, that James Harden trade would have made a lot more sense. But now they got to deal with what they, the decision that they've made.
Yeah, and then let me ask you this question. Marcus brought this point up, and we bring it to Doc Rivers. Is Doc Rivers, blowing leads, or is the talent blowing these leads? Because as a coach, you adjust. Because, I tweeted from the Fast Break account. If you don't follow this on Twitter, please do at Fast Break at IESR. But I tweeted from the account, I think sometime in the middle of that series, you can't play Ben Simmons that much. I mean, you play him like 20 plus, at least 25 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. But if the game's close and stuff like that, you really can't have him out there like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the part that hurts, too, is, it's a hack of Ben Simmons, man. Like, that's terrible, bro. Like, if a game is within striking distance, you got to take this dude out because they're going to foul him. So, again, I think he gets this. I think that'll be fixed over time. But I think the Philly thing is done for. But apparently, from what I've been hearing, or what we've been seeing, I'm pretty sure, is he wants to go to a winning organization. But, again, and to get back to the Doc Rivers thing is, Doc Rivers has had this history of blowing these leads. Like, if we really want to be honest, can we say that Doc Rivers has been a great coach? I mean, with the group that he had in Boston, he only got one title out of those guys. So, I mean, that is the real question. I mean, Doc has been pretty decent, but I think we give him a lot more praise than I think he actually deserves. I don't think he's that great of a coach, in my opinion. And we're continuously seeing the same thing over and over and over. I believe John Smith, former Atlanta Hawks power forward, was talking a lot of trash about Doc Rivers after he said something about Paul George not being able to be that guy. And he said after seeing what happened, in that game, seeing Philly lose, and it just sucks, man, to see Doc Rivers fall again. So now Paul George isn't helping anything by missing free throws, but we're seeing the same thing, man. Like, and that's, to me, some things are not a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just not, it just happened again to this person or this coach. Nah, you have to look and see what is actually happening and try to justify and see, can it be adjusted, or see who the blame really goes to. And I think Doc has a lot to do with it, but Ben Simmons definitely isn't helping the situation. I think, like I said, those two need to separate.
Yeah. Marcus, the question Marcus brought up is a very good question. It is. You alluded to could that Celtics team won more titles? I mean, it's debatable. Could they potentially won that back-to-back? Maybe. They could have. But, I think, they caught Orlando on a good run that which I know you probably know very well. Dwight Howard having that MVP type season. Turkoglu playing very great in the playoffs, along with Anthony Johnson, Rafer Alston playing great as well. When they beat Cleveland in 4-1, beat the Celtics. I mean, that Magic team was in a run. I can't front on that. I mean, that's tough to beat. Then you come back the next year, you lose to the Lakers in 7.
Yeah.
And then, after that, then that's when the Miami teams come into play with LeBron, Bosh, and Wade into the fold. It's tough to say. That window was those first 3 years when they're together, but to maybe win one maybe win a couple. But after that,
Yeah.
when the age start kicking in, the bickering and stuff like that between the guys as well. Mainly with the three guys versus Ray Allen for some odd reason, in which they seem like that beef is still carrying on to this day. I don't know. It's tough to say. I think he kind of squandered a couple title runs with the Clippers, in a sense.
That's what I'm thinking too. I mean, that combination that he had, there's a lot of different things that you kind of, a lot of feathers ruffled in that scenario. So I just, am I the only person that sees the same, repetitive, thing happening at Doc Rivers and his teams?
You're not the only one. A lot of people called it. A lot of people have, been calling that out. Hell, going back to the bubble last year, weren't they up 3-1 against the Nuggets? If I remember, and they just let them come back all the way through, and all the way through to the point, and all the way through to the point that, if I remember correctly, that game 7, they were up by double digits, and they never come back on them like that. I think we talked about that too. It's like, damn, y'all up double digits, and y'all let them come back. They never come back on them, and never turn around and won by double digits. I said, damn, really? To a point, yeah. To the players, yeah. There's something to a point, but at the all be all, that's coaching. At the end of the day, you make adjustments. You figure what's working, not working. You talk to your assistants. Maybe they got different eyes than what you seeing in the game, which kind of circles back to present day here, but the Sixers losing against the Hawks. Somebody on his coaching staff should have manned up and said, "Hey, Ben Simmons is not helping us to close out this game. If we got to throw out one of the rookies out here and Maxey or Milton and just ride it out, so be it." But we cannot have Ben Simmons out here in these crucial moments. He's not scoring. He's not shooting the ball well at the free throw line. He's not helping us. But I'll let you have the last word.
But my thing is, like I said, it's just the fact that that big move that he did instead of taking that dunk and dishing it, that was a big, okay, it's time to go type thing. And then to hear Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers put their 2 cents in and approach it as if the way they did, for me, that was the end of it. Right now, even though he knows he has to fix his game, even though he can be better, I really like Ben Simmons. I think he's going to be a star for a while. But the thing about it is, I don't think it's in Philly. And I don't think that, to be honest, I don't think that's the place, for him and like for him to flourish how I believe he can. Because they just, I mean, how many times have we really seen guys with, say, a great big man like an Embiid or somebody, and a great defender who can't shoot on the same team, and it works? You need more shooters than anything. I mean, you can say Rick Fox was a hell of a defender when Shaq was there, but they had Kobe, who can make a shot at any point. So, do you have that in Philly right now? No. So, I think that's what you need for a guy like Embiid, who can get your best man out of the game with fouls. He's going to get to the board and get putbacks. You need somebody who can do all of that. You need somebody that can shoot, and also you need somebody that's going to be able to facilitate and make the shots they need. Like I just told you, I just bought NBA 2K, and I've been trying to play it and, do fantasy drafts and stuff like that. And I'm realizing that I'm trying to tag up Bradley Beal and Karl-Anthony Towns with Russ. I need somebody who can shoot, and I need somebody to grab boards. But a defender down there is not going to help anything for Embiid. So I just think like you already got somebody in back who's going to play, hella great defense. So my suggestion, what I think they are going to do, they're going to try to trade him away. It's just the fact that they missed a big piece in having James Harden to tag with Embiid for years. If they would have done that earlier.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting what they do with Ben Simmons in the offseason. Where does he go? I don't know. And then a lot of people, and one more thing online I've been seeing, people are saying, oh, it's going to be hard to trade that contract. He's due for this much salary and blah, 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 blah. We see in the past, 10 years at least in the NBA that anybody's tradable. Let's be real about that. Anybody's tradable. Bad contract or not, anybody's tradable. And plus, there's always one sucker out there that's saying, you know what? I can fix Ben Simmons. Give him to me. And that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. You just need one person to say, hey, well, you know what? Or one team to say. But again, it's not like we're talking about a scrub. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about somebody that is can be a consistent all-star that could be very good. It's just that, being able to fix the mentality and the scoring is going to be huge. But if you can kind of fix that or improve that and keep that defense, you're going to get a hell of a player.
Yeah. So, I hope Ben Simmons figures it out. I hope he takes this summer to figure it out. And not, hop on, Twitch and stuff like that. Start streaming and stuff like that. Playing, Call of Duty or Fortnite, whatever. I think something got clicking inside his head to, okay, I know I could be better than this. Let me figure it out. Or get some people that help me figure it out. Something. So, we'll see about Ben Simmons. But, ladies and gentlemen, on top of, the games there and whatnot, a lot of coach changes been happening in the league. So far right now, the Celtics, Mavericks, and Blazers have hired new coaches so far. D-Lock's Orlando Magic, they're still in their coaching search, but, rumors or stories coming out today that they're interested in Penny Hardaway. So we'll see how that materializes. But for the three hires that happened, D-Lock, what situation is the best to turn around their team's fortunes for the long run?
I mean, for me, it's a couple. I've been saying it for a while that I really want the Mavs to make a big move, but clearly that's gonna take some time. But teams are making moves right now. I kind of was shocked when I seen Boston hire somebody that quick. I, I kind of was in shock of it. I invested to you, and I just was like, "What the hell was that?" Um, so that was one big shocker to me. Not one that I was too impressed with, um, but I think that Jason Kidd, that pulls through. I really like that move. I feel like obviously, him being a guy that was at Dallas, I feel like that's going to be a very, very big move. I want to know how it's going to affect Luka and that roster. But I think that Jason Kidd is going to be a very, very good piece in Dallas. Hopefully this means that, you leaning on a gambler to make some decisions, it kind of fades for Mark Cuban. So I really like that
one. For Jason Kidd, for me, it's just like another retread getting a hire. And that's why my first thought was like, damn, he gets another job. I was really happy for Yukota getting the job for the Celtics. This is a guy that has grinded ever since he became an assistant coach in the NBA. Being under Popovich for years, then going to work under Brett Brown, then most recently working for Steve Nash. This is a guy that has grounded for years, that has barely gotten a sniff up till now to get hired as a head coach. Like in this coaching cycle here, some reason or another, Mike D'Antoni, he was getting looks again. I was saying to myself, why? Like, why? He flamed down in Houston. You don't know what you do there. I just think, it's kind of passing by. The time in this clock is gone. And then Rick Carlisle, he gets let go of Dallas or mutual part ways. But then he's immediately hired with the Pacers. I was like, really? Him, like, so quickly. The other assistants around the league, Darvin Ham, Adrian Griffin, Becky Hammond, just to name a few. You're going to hire Rick Carlisle just like that just because of familiarity? And then I was happy for Chauncey Billups, too. In the sense that a guy who, my eyes, I'm surprised he should make this move sooner to be a head coach, my honest opinion. You talking about the guy who became a glue player, kind of really figured out when he got to Minnesota as a player years ago. Really figured out when he got to Detroit with Larry Brown and crew. And God knows his basketball. Now he's in the position to kind of, and we'll see what happens with Damian Lillard. Because, with the reports he locked that, I don't know, he was upset he wasn't involved in the coaching search or whatever. Who knows? But, I think Billups could come in and put that and have that respect as a player, respect as a former champion. To tell Lillard, say, hey, we'll sit down, we'll chop dinner, and then we'll go about and see how we do things and get this thing on the right path. Because do you see Billups more as an upside than Terry Stotts? Because I know you weren't a big fan of Terry Stotts at all.
I feel like Billups probably could fit a little bit better I feel like Stotts just had it was just time for them to start from scratch with a whole new group. A whole nother coaching staff because they had that little squad over there for a minute and Stotts wasn't doing anything. So now, I feel like this is the opportunity, taking Billups to see what he can do with that group. The question is to see how Dane feels about this. Dane feels about this. Because I mean, if you trade him or you got to lose him, that might be something that you definitely don't want. So, but I definitely want to see what Portland can do with a different style because clearly, Stotts was the guy. Now, personally, I really did. I think I would have liked in Portland was Mike D'Antoni. The reason why is because I know he has that high-powered type offense. I think we look at Dame was in the MVP range, messing around with having Mike D'Antoni. So, but we'll see what Billups can do.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Chauncey does. Marcus is saying in the chat, D'Antoni should have got the Portland job. And, what you allude to, D-Lock, like, with the offense he runs and with that squad with Portland, it could have. I mean, it could have worked. I mean, I knew it could have worked because with the backcourt you have, and the centers, when healthy, are very good, and Collins and Nursev. And then you got the kind of like the stretch four type of forwards and like Covington, Derek Jones. I know Melo and D'Antoni don't have great history, so I couldn't see Melo playing for him again. Maybe not, but well, hell, I take it back. He did play for him in Houston, right, for a little bit, right?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
Never mind, scratch that. But D'Antoni could have fit there. More, I think he would fit there in that place better than some of the other places. But let me ask you this: who does your Orlando Magic look? Who are they going to look at as their next head coach? Because, like I said, there's rumors about Penny Hardaway being a serious candidate. What are your thoughts on that potential move if it happens?
I would love to move, but like I said to you before we got on the show, that would be an excellent move. But I need to see. The thing about us, we need to see some F-18. I mean, we need to be into trying to win. You got to be committed to winning. That's what this is about. And this is the problem that, like, if I was a coach and I was trying out, if I wanted to, work at any of these teams, I wouldn't try to go with the Magic. Why? Because they give a coach 2 years and they're done. So that's the biggest thing for me is be committed to these to the team and committed to winning. There's a reason why we've had about 5 to 6 coaches in the past 10 years. We can't stay committed to just winning and trusting the process, as Joel Embiid said years back. So, I would love to get Penny Hardaway, but if I'm Penny Hardaway, hey, I need like a 5-year deal. I need something that's gonna. I have some kind of commitment, so you're not gonna just fire me, or we are thinking different ways in the next couple of years because things are not going as fast as you want them to. And also just the commitment of wanting to be great. I mean, that is where the problem is in Orlando. I mean, you get you a coach and then you're done with that coach after a year or two. Steve Clifford leaving right now is not a surprise to me because it's happened so many times. So at this point, that trend has to stop at some point. It has to. And like I said, I would want it to be Penny Hardaway, but does it happen? I can't say that it would at the moment. I just feel like right now we're getting in the way of ourselves. Hell, remember we were supposed to be quote unquote tanking for a top 4 pick, and we didn't even get that. And hell, I believe if we did get top 4, I think that pick would have went to the Bulls. So it's like didn't make any sense. So we're getting in the way of ourselves. So any coach, whether it's Penny Hardaway, whether it's the lady Becky, a couple other people we're looking into, we need to show that we're, committed to winning long term. Because it's like, okay, dude, we're going to hire you in 2 years, and then we're not in the NBA Finals in 2 years. We're going to let you go. Like, what kind of sense does that make? So, for me, I would love to have Penny Hardaway. But the problem isn't just coaching, man. The problem is in the front office. It's always been like that. I told you when Russ was getting traded, we should have tried for Russ. And Russ went and helped the Wizards get the playoffs. Just getting in the playoffs right now for the Magic would be great. I was hearing one of my friends tell me that, Steve Clifford is one of the best coaches that we've ever had after making the playoffs 2 years in a row. And he's gone now. Like, what are we doing at this point? So, I would love to have Penny Hardaway, but we're going to see, man. I mean, you never know with what we're doing.
I think, it's interesting that Penny, and I know the NBA offseason kind of is out of whack at the moment, but it's kind of interesting that Penny may leave Memphis, and the way, I take it back. Only reason I see Penny leaving is I think he thinks the college game is kind of like, it's too much. And what I mean by that, his first year kind of really didn't go as planned as he has hoped. The first couple years that hasn't gone planned as he has hoped. His name, while yes, he got those nice big recruits, but it really didn't materialize like he has hoped. Now, the Wiseman situation, that's a different thing. In that, Penny helped this kid out, when his family in a tough spot. And the NCAA, wag their fingers and, there goes Wiseman for Memphis. But that's the only thing I can really think about Penny leaving for the NBA. He's like, it's like, he probably think like, damn, if these couple things go right here, I'll be set. But it seems like, if I do something, the NCAA is going to be down my neck. While it's in the NBA, I don't have to worry about it. I just coach my team. I got... If I do take the Magic job, I got a nice young roster to take over. I got, a draft pick in the top 5. So, I don't know. I get to rebuild there in my vision. Compared, to staying in Memphis. I don't know. It's a tough thing to say, D-Lock. I don't know.
I mean, it's just the fact that if you think about it, are you really willing to give up a little bit more job security in Memphis than you are? Are you willing to give that up to go to Orlando, which in a sense is not a bad opportunity, but look at the history in Orlando. Like, The history is they hire a coach, then they fire a coach. So for me, um, that's even though you would love to have that opportunity. But hell, again, we're talking about a coach that just went to the playoffs 2 years with the Magic, and for some odd reason, they both decided to part ways. So, we can say, well, Steve Clifford decided that he wanted to leave. I'm pretty sure there's something in the background or a reason that he felt as if he needed to leave or decided to leave. So, Frank Vogel. I mean, the list goes on. Scott Skiles. So, there's guys that been here that can be a pretty decent coach, and they've had a little record of being a pretty solid coach. Hell, to be honest, out of all the coaches we've had so far, I really liked when we had Frank Vogel. I thought we were going to do something really good with him. Because he was doing his thing when he was with the Pacers. And, again, we're drafting in the lottery again. So, again, this goes into the front office, and it's, as much as Penny would love to be in Orlando, I'm almost positive. That's a tough decision that you're going to have to sit there and really think. Because, even though you could go there and have that resume of being a coach in the NBA, do they still bring you, another team bring you in, or they sell you with the Magic, so you're not going to do anything with them? So, like I said, do you use the Magic as a stepping stool to get the experience to be a coach in the NBA, or what? But at this point, nothing is guaranteed in Orlando. Everything is up and down. You never know what's going to happen every year. They might decide to part ways with you because you wanted to trade for a dominant player, and they disagree. There's a lot of things that makes going to Orlando very scary.
Yeah, you brought a good point. To leave Memphis for a job that has been real shaky for head coaches for a good while now. It's real thing, hard thing to think about. It's like, do I leave a place where I know I'll be loved? The people love me. I get the support from the neighborhood and stuff like that. To, down to Orlando, that if things ain't going right, they cut you loose. Or they construct a roster around you that you don't like, and things don't go right, they cut you loose. I'll say this about in today's NCAA, in the complex in NCAA right now in today's basketball. From year to year, you can have roster changeover just like that. You can have the roster in your makeup, in a sense, how you want it from year to year. In the NBA, in a sense, maybe you can, but in a sense, you really can't. Because of contracts and stuff like that. But in the college basketball world, you can depending on what the kids, mindset is, damn near handpick your roster. So I don't know, man. It's just like, when I saw Penny's name, I was kind of surprised by it. It's like, damn. Penny already trying to leave Memphis State already? So, I don't know. We'll see how that shakes out for them and your Orlando Magic. But, speaking of your Orlando Magic, D-Lock, I know you tuned in into the draft lottery.
Yep.
I know you weren't happy with the results.
Nope. I'm not understanding This is the same thing over and over and over. We keep, we talked about this before. Like, okay, the Magic look like might get a chance to get a Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, somebody like that. You have a good chance, but it's just like find a way to mess it up, man. I mean, it just seems like we, can't win for nothing. And hell, I didn't really understand. I didn't really know it until the lottery. But if we would have went top 4, that pick would have went to the Bulls.
Yep.
Like what? Like what kind of sense does that make? It's just like that's. And I got guys telling me, "Oh, that makes sense for us. That'll be good. So we keep our pick, bro. Like you rather keep a pick at 5? Like we have not done anything with the picks that we've had in the past. So yeah, I mean it's just another disappointing draft lottery.
And, to talk about the draft lottery, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just go through the results of it real quick. So, going number one overall, the Detroit Pistons, they got the right odds to land that number 1 pick over, the presumed favorite, the Houston Rockets, who landed at number 2. Number 3, and we discussed this before the air, man. It's like, how the hell Cleveland be, getting these damn picks, in the top 3 year in, year out, and don't do squat with them?
Yeah, that's kind of. It seems like they have some kind of thing on at all times. They find a way to get a high pick for years, bro. I don't know if it's a LeBron effect or what.
It like we talked before there. It kind of baffles us. Like you brought up your Magic. Like how many times, since they land in the lottery, they get a number 1 overall pick. Like since Dwight Howard.
Yeah, we haven't had one for a while. That'd be Dwight around that time. And even when we get the pick, we don't do anything with it.
Yeah. And Mark is saying in the chat, D-Lock, let me see you like this scenario. If the Magic offered the 5th overall pick for Ben Simmons, and maybe throw in Cole Anthony or something like that, would you be happy with that trade?
Run it. Run it. Run it right now. Don't even listen. Don't even offer me that. I go up to the Magic front office and take that in a hot second. Because I mean, okay, we can talk about the shooting of Ben Simmons, yes, but he's bringing? For one, he went to high school there, and he's bringing. So when it comes to ticket sales, they should be fine with ticket sales. They ain't got to worry about that. That's what the ownership is hound. It's ticket sales or whatever, making money. All right, cool. You got that situated with Ben Simmons. Not only that, he's bringing a type of energy that has winning basketball onto it. Now, obviously, we see what just happened recently, but he would bring the excitement in the superstar or the star that we haven't had in Orlando in so long. So I would love to have him. I would love to have him in Orlando because right now you got Markelle Fultz or Cole Anthony. So let's say you trade one of them, possibly to Philly. You give me Ben Simmons. I'll put him at the 3. You got your guard. Terrence Ross is still there. You got Wendell Carter. You're still trying to figure out what you got with Mo Bamba. But the fact is, you have a defender that can definitely help out this team. So I would love to have Ben Simmons. I mean, yes, we can talk about what has happened in Philly. But I would love to have him in the Orlando organization. I just feel like that'll be a huge piece that can start something over time. I'm not saying that it will win now, but I feel like that's an effect that can start something great. I mean, he's young. You help him with his shooting. But he still is that defender. That's what you need. Right now, you got Jonathan Isaac on the big deal. To be honest, I had already told you, in my opinion, I don't think we should have paid him all that money. But you know what we do in the history? We assign players that are hurt to long-term deals. So I would probably make him part of that trade if you ask me, because right now he's starting to have a few injury problems. J.I. himself, but hell yeah, man, you give me that trade. Hey, let's run that trade right now.
So I'm going to throw another question to you. If Orlando hires Penny Hardaway, and just throw out this scenario, if they pair him up with the Ben Simmons, can Penny, find some way to get the best out of Ben Simmons?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think he can play a huge part in that. I think he could get. See, to me, my thing about Ben Simmons right now, like I said earlier in the segment, I feel like he just needs somewhere else to start over. So somewhere else, I think he's still a hell of a good player. I just think he needs a fresh start in a different area, a different place. So I think you pair him up with a Penny Hardaway, who is, I think, a pretty solid coach. I think he can get a lot out of Ben Simmons. Now, the mentality is what you're going to, you can't fix somebody's mentality, but that is what you're going to need to get things moving in the right direction. And I don't think that Ben Simmons has a bad mentality. I just think that it's just time to start over in a different area, a new team, back in the city where you're a little bit more comfortable. So I think if he were to land in Orlando, that'd be like a match made in heaven for me, in my eyes. A guy that already has a history of being a pretty decent player. Now, like I said, what the owners care about with the selling tickets, they're going to continue to do that. And he's going to bring, I think, the win mentality. Now, the thing about it is I don't think he wants to go to a franchise like Orlando. But if we can pull that trade off and get Penny Hardaway, lock him up for what, 3 to 5 years, or 5 years in my eyes, I think that'd be perfect. I would feel much better. But in my eyes right now, I think we need to trade that fifth pick.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. It's like you already got enough young pieces already on that roster, and what Marcus alluded to a couple comments ago. Back when they traded for KG and Ray Allen, they gave up, I believe, that 5th overall pick in Jeff Green to bring in Ray Allen. They gave up those young guys, like KG. I mean, like what's his name, Al Jefferson. Who else in that trade? Ryan Gomes, at the top of my head. Gerald Green, and a couple first round picks for KG. Which kind of brings back to Danny Ainge. Like, if you did that once before for a title, why you ain't trade the young guys that you have now for those same type of pieces? But, different story for different day. But anyways, like for Orlando, for example, you already got a young roster. You need some veteran leadership there. Or like a young up-and-coming superstar to kind of take you over the hump, or maybe lead you to the next decade or so. So I think, with that scenarios I laid out, if they can do something like that, yeah, I know Orlando's not an ideal city for Ben Simmons, like you alluded to. But, Miami ain't too far away to go hang out, with Instagram models.
Yeah.
You ain't paying, no state tax living in Florida compared to those taxes living in the damn Northeast. And you have the cold too. So, if I'm Orlando laying that scenario, maybe I'll shoot for the stars and go for it. You're rebuilding anyways. See what happens.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, but again, that's that's the bothersome thing I have with my franchise, the Orlando Magic. We don't want to be committed to winning long term, and that's going to scare away a lot of players. I was looking at some of the guys we drafted. We drafted Sabonis.
Yep.
So, that's just one piece that is just like, well, damn, okay. Are we really gonna, some of these guys they're going to these other spots and they playing hella great. I think 9 years ago, we drafted Victor Oladipo. I think I've seen him put it up on his page. So, for me, it's feel like, I'm always gonna be a fan of my teams no matter what. But sometimes you just gotta look at what the hell your franchise, your organization doing. And you can't say, oh, y'all coaches are just terrible and they're running the program to the ground. Oh, hell no, it ain't that. Their front office, the owner is not trying to win. And that needs to change.
And then going over the rest of the lottery real quick. Toronto, they landed the 4th overall pick. So it'll be real to see who they target. 5, Orlando. 6, Oklahoma City. So, another team that could possibly have been in that top 4 kind of fell out of it. Now, number 7 is Golden State. Now, some of y'all probably wondering listening to this on the playback or whatever, or listening live, say, well, how did Golden State get that top 7 pick? Well, y'all don't remember the Andrew Wiggins trade. Minnesota threw in that first round pick with Golden State. And we talked about this in the past, D-Lock, that the way they sucked last year and landed James Wiseman, and the potential of this pick with this better graded, well, we'll see how the draft class plays out. But at the time we talked about, the potential of this class here better, well, compared to this past year's class, could be greater. Well, Golden State get lucky again in the lottery. They get the number 7 pick in this draft, along with their regular pick at 14th. So, do you see Golden State being major players in the offseason with 2 draft picks in the top 14 picks? Or did they just stay at home and draft 2 young guys to go along their roster for the future?
I think Golden State actually used those picks to trade for a piece. Now, to be honest, I don't see Golden State being a bad spot for Ben Simmons.
Ooh.
I feel like, we talked about him being around shooters. Well, hell, it can't get no better than Steph and Clay. So, now Kelly Oubre would probably be a fold in that trade, but that would be something to watch. But I honestly feel like they're still kind of in that win now mode, Warriors. So you're adding one more person in a sense to that group, rather than trying to draft somebody else. But yeah, I think they use those pieces to. I think they use those trade pieces. I mean, those draft picks to trade for another star. It's just about who it's going to be, and clearly with one guy, it seems like he's on his way out. It could be him. It could be Ben Simmons.
That's real interesting right there. If they're not using one of these two picks to trade for a superstar to kind of boost their team up what they had when they had KD, now I'd be pretty shocked. Because we don't know the health of Klay Thompson. They say he's on track to play for this next season. We shall see. But, Ben Simmons is the name you float out. There's always been like flirtation with Bradley Beal as well. You trade those two picks and throw in Andrew Wiggins for salary reasons. You looking pretty good right now for you're going to say you got Bradley Beal. But, depending on how the draft falls and whatnot, if they get two good young prospects out of this for the future, hey, great for them. But if they decide to make the move to trade for a superstar, then, hey, if you swing and hit a home run, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, why not try to? if you're a Golden State, you know what you need. You don't need no more offense in a sense. So, Clay is going to come back ready. It's going to be a valid piece. So, you don't really need, I guess, another rookie at this point. Go get your defender.
Yeah. Yeah, get you a defender and go about it that way. And to finish out, Orlando, they get the 8th pick from Chicago. So Orlando got 2 picks in the lottery. Sacramento number 9, New Orleans number 10, Charlotte number 11, San Antonio number 12, Indiana 13, and like we mentioned for Golden State 14. So very interesting lottery. A lot of interesting prospects here, especially in that top 4 range. A lot of guys who could be franchise changers for, a lot of teams in that position. So, we'll discuss more draft talk come, in July and stuff like that and see who fits where and whatnot. And, we'll go forward in that process. But before we get out here, ladies and gentlemen, we do want to update you the Hawks and Milwaukee game. The Hawks are up 50-46 right now. The Hawks are playing way better than they were game 2. And that's just like one of those games that game 2, you just forget about it and you just come out and play better in the next game. But before I get to that, D-Lock, real quick, what'd you think of Kemba Walker getting traded to Oklahoma City for Al Horford?
I feel like that move was contract purposes, especially with Horford. Kemba, we knew he was up out of there. That made all kind of sense. That was a bad experience. I thought he was gonna be a better play than that, but for me, it just you already know SGA is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing out of his mind right now. So I don't know if they keep Kemba. So I think we may see him on the move again.
I mean, for me, honestly, like you mentioned salary reasons, but I think for Boston, and hopefully for Al Horford, hopefully this kind of clicks in for him. Hey, dude, you're a center. I'm sorry to tell you, you're a center. I know you're trying to do the power forward thing for years in the league, but it just you're a center. But you're going back to a place that fits your style very well. You had great success in the upper age of your career. Embrace it. Go with it. You damn near got to the finals with that said team just a few years ago. So just come back. I'll say this for Al Horford. Come back to the fold. Embrace it. Be the center. The starting center that you can be. Or maybe as a reserve. Because who knows? I mean, I know they like Robert Williams a lot. And just go with it, man. And for Kemba, going to Oklahoma City. Maybe he can make it work.
I don't know. I think it's over, man.
Just like, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe if he can find that fire that Chris Paul had when he got traded to OKC, then that would do great for him. But and Oklahoma City got nice young roster too, and a lot of picks and stuff. But like you just mentioned, does he even stay there for the start of the season?
I don't think so.
Well, hell, we had the same question for Chris Paul too. Well, he's gonna stay there, but he stayed and led him to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on that. The Hawks are up by, I'm looking at right now, 7 on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Hawks got out smoking.
Yep, and Trae Young is shooting the ball better than he did game 2. And then you got 9 points out the. He better shoot the ball well. And Gallo out the bench having 9 points so far for Atlanta. Giannis is having 16 points so far, 6 for 11 shooting. Middleton 5 for 9 from the field for 11 points. So, pretty good close game right now with the Hawks, with the advantage right now. Who comes out in game 3 tonight, D-Lock? The Hawks or the Bucks?
Boy. The Hawks are like they're on fire right now, man. I think the Bucks will come around and they'll get them a victory, though. They're slowly starting to get back into the game. Now, I wouldn't doubt it being the Hawks also, because the Hawks, they start clicking on these shots, and it's real trouble. But the Bucks are starting to calm down a little bit and starting to make a little difference. But it's gonna be not gonna be easy, but they start, like you said, Trae Young started to play good. If Bogdanovich starts to catch fire, Kevin Huerter is playing awesome today. But if I had to pick, I'll take Milwaukee.
Ooh. Okay. I think the Hawks. I go the other way. I think the Hawks will win out in this game, barring something crazy happening. But I think the Hawks close out this game. I think it'll be close. I think they probably win like by 5 or 7, something like that. But I think the Hawks win this game, go up 2-1, against Milwaukee. And then that's when that crucial Game 4 comes into play. Can, Budenholzer and crew, tie back up, take it back to Milwaukee? Or can Atlanta, find that moxie and, and win that game?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I ain't gonna lie, Atlanta look like they do have the advantage. Now they mess around and win today and win the next game in Atlanta. But they might be calling for Budenholzer's job again.
Well, he better coach like his job on the line, or hell, you know what? Before we go, hell, even if he does get let go, if they lose this series, hell, he might get hired real quick, as we seen.
He will. I believe that. I believe he'll get a job quick, but I just feel like now is in a situation where clearly, with you having Giannis on your team, it was expected to be in the NBA Finals. A lot of people think they're gonna win, and boy, it's hard to go against the Suns right now.
Yeah, very true. So we'll put a bow on that, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for tuning in with us tonight. A lot of things we discussed, a lot of things we got out the way. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. If you're not following us on Twitter, please do at FastBreaker IESR. That is FastBreak IESR. Also, do check us out on IE Sports Radio. We're all social media platforms from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, IE Sports Radio. Look us up. You see the black and white logo. Click and follow. And hey, enjoy the content. Also, go to the website, iesportsradio.com, where we got from blog posts to the archives from the shows. Please do tune in. We've got a lot of new shows coming through the network. So if you're not following us on social media to be caught up to date on those, you're sorely missing out. D-Lock, how can the people find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Black-813. I've been tweeting a lot of Olympic stuff recently, so I'm pretty sure people seen that. But Black-813, both on Instagram and Twitter. Let them know they can find you at now.
You can find me.
Came back to his halftime.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, ooh, boy. I said, ooh, Jesus. But you can find me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That is Spawn4288. Also, you can find me on Instagram, whatever podcast that I do, The Crooks Process. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. That is The Crooks Process. You'll see the CP logo there. Don't know when I'm going to drop a new episode. So, just if you follow those pages, you'll get those new drops there. So, till then, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. We'll be back next week discussing more conference finals, more coaching news, and also kind of, talk about draft news and stuff like that leaks out. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we out.